All right. Hello, lovelies. Forgive me for the lack of lighting in this video. I procrastinated all day to film this, and so therefore I am filming it at night when it is darker, and this is the light that I'm working with, so please bear with me. Okay, well, today I felt pulled to film a video, but to film one that is authentic, that is genuine. You know, I miss the days of YouTube where people would just turn on the camera, no perfect lighting, no editing. It was just them talking, and it was so real. And so I'm gonna try to do that today and try not to be a perfectionist or self-conscious of how this comes out. So here it goes. Lately, I've been in my head, honestly. I've been a lot in my head and trying really hard to come back to my heart. December and January have been very, very turbulent times for me. January and specifically has been a very, very hard month for the US, for the world, for a lot of people. I feel collectively a lot of us are struggling right now and going through some kind of hardship. So at least we can hopefully find comfort in the fact that we're not alone, and we can empathize with one another over our shared humanity. I'm already feeling emotional. But so for me in particular, what is weighing on my heart and weighing in my head? I have been navigating a lot of really uncomfortable transitions, one of which I have been navigating loss. I am experiencing a bit of grief right now. I lost my grandmother a couple weeks ago, which still doesn't entirely feel real. And I know for some people, losing your grandparents is obviously common. Our grandparents are the older, wiser versions of us. It's natural that they go before we do, so it's not like we're not expecting it, but still, when you have such a close relationship with your grandmother, like the way I did, it almost doesn't feel real. It doesn't really feel like that's something that's going to happen. And with me, my family's so incredibly small. Like, my immediate family is tiny. It is me, my mother, my sister, and my grandma. And our relationship with each other has always felt more like a sisterhood than it did, like a hierarchy, having very specific roles. It always felt like we were in unison working together. And it was beautiful because of that. Sorry, camera's shaking. So losing my grandma is it's just been a slap in the face of the reality of life and how short life truly is, and how life is meant to be lived fully, and focusing on the things that matter and negating the things that don't. And I've been really, really stressed lately. Switch arms here. I have been worrying a lot about the future of my life. For those who don't know, I made a very big decision to move to Boston, Massachusetts within the next year. That is my goal. I currently live in Maine, where I grew up. I love it here. I'm very grateful and honored for the life I live here, and to be as loved, to be as stable, all of the good things, but I'm not happy. And with this decision, to change my lifestyle, to change where I reside, it has brought forth a lot of anxiety about what I'm going to lose. The process of letting go is really, really scary, especially when you're someone like me who, again, comes from a small family. We have a background of poverty, kind of getting by with very little. It's been very scary, and there's just been a lot in my mind. So losing my grandma has kind of made that anxiety a bit worse, and kind of just reminded me again of how precious life is, how small my family is. And it's kind of brought forth some fear of, like, what if I make this big decision to move and I end up alone? And I don't have anyone who loves me. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's really what's been going on in my mind and weighing on my heart. So navigating that has been a process. And not only that, but there has been some things that have happened in my life recently, some things that have triggered, these wounds that I've carried, some past traumas regarding relationships, my romantic connections with people, wounds that I have harbored from the absence of my father, from the rejection of my father, from the abuse and neglect that I endured when I was a child from my stepfather, things I've endured with past lovers. There's been a lot of things going on in my mind that has scared me. And, with making a decision to move without everything I know, a part of me is hoping to find and forge some kind of partnership with someone. But these wounds that I've had have triggered me in relationships that I've experienced recently. And all of this stuff, I feel, has kind of driven me a little crazy in my mind. It's like a lot of things hitting together at once and causing me more turbulence than I would like. And I like to think of myself as a really peaceful person, very down to earth, very grounded, but also very much someone who's in control of her life. And when these things happen, I feel very out of control. And that's when it gets scary, the unknown. Sorry, there's a car going by. And with that, the final thing that's really been weighing on me, with all this stuff going on, I feel like it's brought forth some stress. And one of the things that I always say is that when we're going through stuff like this, I feel like we end up getting sick. We end up catching some type of illness because it's our bodies saying, please come home to us. Please take care of us. Please pay attention to us. And this past week was very emotional for me. Cried a lot, had a lot that I had to let go of. And with that, started experiencing some issues in my mouth. I'm having some oral difficulties right now. Long story short, I had to schedule a last minute emergency dental oral surgery for myself. And it's not cheap. Unfortunately, I am not a woman of monetary wealth. I believe I'm rich in my heart and in my soul, but not in my possessions. So I have to pay for everything myself. And with this yearning to move and to change my life, I obviously need money to do that. And this situation is going to be a little setback financially. And I basically spent the last couple of days crying, being hard on myself, being down, letting myself be upset. And I was just like, God damn it, all this stuff happening. My grandmother passed, the world is in chaos. I'm struggling to connect with someone in a real way, in the way I want. And now this whole thing is happening with my body, with my finances. I'm like, great. What does this mean for me in the future? I rode that wave, let myself be depressed, because it's important to let yourself be sad and to feel the things you need to feel. And now I'm trying to climb out of that hole a bit. But all this, what I'm getting at with this video is that all of this has felt like an obstacle for me to overcome. I sat with myself last night, this morning, and I was really allowing myself to be still, to be present, to allow myself to ride the waves, but to find serenity amongst them. And really what I've found is that all this just feels like another reminder of what's important in life. The little things are the big things. Our health is wealth. Surrounding ourselves with people who love us, people who see us. Really being able to enjoy your life in the simplest of ways. Not feeling like you have to chase something that's not meant to be yours. Not placing your value in anything external. And I think sometimes it takes really big, sometimes traumatic events to take place in order for us to realize that, to have that wake-up call. And, even though I was really stressed about this whole oral surgery, the finances, all this stuff, being hard on myself, I realized, even though it sucks to have to use my money towards something medical, an emergency, to not use it towards the thing I really want, at the same time, I stopped and I was like, wow, the fact that I can do that for myself, though, is huge. When I was young, when I was a child, I spent my life very fearful, very anxious, living in poverty, not having control, not knowing when we had money, when we weren't going to have it. If something went wrong, could we afford to take care of ourselves? And even in my early 20s, I had way less than what I have now. I'm a lot wealthier now than I was when I was 20. And former me would have strived to have all the things that I have now. And I really had to humble myself and take a step back and be like, Davina, please just stop and look at everything you have now compared to what you did not have just even 5-6 years ago. And, it was kind of like, whoa, like I almost felt ashamed for being so hard on myself. Again, the fact that I can take care of myself. I can pay for a very big medical expense, even though it sucks. The fact that I've got myself, I can catch myself when I fall. It's really proven that to me. And losing my grandmother, but still having, that love spiritually that will never be lost for each other. Having that carry me throughout the duration of my life, and my family as a whole, and knowing, like, as I move forward, that's always going to carry me. That's always going to be in my heart. That's always going to be a part of me and what makes up who I am. And understanding that right now in this moment, I am enough. I am capable. I am strong. I can make all of my dreams come true. I can fucking do anything I set my mind to. And I've proven that to myself time and time again. But every now and then I need a reminder. I feel like every now and then all of us do. And I know who I am. I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to heal. My purpose is to use my voice. My purpose is to create. And I succeed in doing that in all the ways. I really help people. And it's because I've had to help myself. And time again, I have to continue helping myself when I fall, such as right now. And I have to let go. I've had to let go of external pursuits in order to enjoy the present. You know, I think I strive so hard for things like family and community and connection, because when I was growing up, I had this tight bond with my family, but it was like we were surviving together. We were enduring loss together. We were going through hardships together. And that's beautiful, but the consequences of what we experienced haunted me. And the thing about traumas is that it's a story that just relays in our mind. You know, it's a part of our story, but it's not who we are. We are not defined by our traumas. We are not defined by loss that we've experienced in our life. We're not defined by the abuse people have put on us. And I've worked a lot in my early 20s to heal and to let go, and I've really come a long way. I think it's just moments such as these ones that really put that to the test. You know, it's almost like shining a light on my old wounds, the scars that have formed, and kind of like poking me and be like, do you remember? Things are different now. Like, what are you going to do now? You know? And I think that, again, upon making a big decision to leave my comfort zone, to leave everything I know, and to try to forge a relationship with someone new, as I make this decision, I'm still holding on to parts of me. You know, I am a very grounded person, and it is important for me wherever I go to have community, kinship, to feel loved, to feel safe. Those are very valuable standards. But I haven't allowed those things to really forge naturally. I feel I've been trying to project my comfort zone onto new territory, onto new people. And it doesn't work like that. And amongst all this, I've had to recenter and remind myself again that all of the things I need, my worth, that is inside of me. I've had to remind myself that the external validation I have sought is already inside of me. And even if I have very little money, even if I'm not in a serious relationship, I have no children, even if I don't have all these very big things that I'm striving for, even if I've lost important people, I am still enough. I am still capable. I am still worthy. My purpose in life is defined by who I am. It's not defined by the possessions I have. It's not defined by my social status. And that is really difficult to come to terms with, especially when your ambition involves people. You know, coaching, photography, being a writer. Being a writer is more solitary, but coaching and photography, that involves people. And I'm used to receiving such praise externally. And in my current community, I've grown so big. You know, I feel like I'm a big fish in a very small pond. And I think I have to be a little fish in a big pond once again. But it's scary when you've spent nearly a decade of your life trying to undo the wounds of rejection, abandonment, feeling invisible. When you finally feel seen in a certain area, but you're no longer happy, it's still hard to let go. And that's where I am. That's where my head is at. But I know that all of this is happening for the better, for the greater good. You can't have light without darkness. And I think that even though I'm kind of scared, knowing how sure I am in myself, how solid I am in my character, knowing the gifts that I provide other people for this world. Just knowing the goodness in my heart of who I am and what I've done and what I'm going to continue doing. That is enough for me. And I've said it before, that I do not place my worth in anything external. I've said it before, I've meant it, I mean it. But all this stuff that has come to the forefront has tested that statement, has tested that philosophy. It feels that life is challenging me right now and saying, are you going to practice what you preach? and I am, but it's scary. So, I don't know what the future holds. When I leave my comfort zone, when I leave everything I know, I'm going to try my best not to take my traumas with me, my fears with me of the past. I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm capable of defending myself, taking care of myself. I am my own lover. I know how to be a partner to myself. And whether I am single or in a relationship with someone else, even so, I have to continue to be that for myself, to be my own rock. Even if I experience loss, death, if I'm not rich, I've got myself. I know who I am. I know my worth. I don't place it in anything external. And if I forget again, then this is my reminder. It's really all I've got for today. I appreciate anyone who's watched this, if anyone can relate to the feeling of the world crashing down on you, experiencing uncertainty and fear of that uncertainty, the testament of trusting yourself. I hope you know that you're not alone. We're all in this together. And the other thing that I've been reminded of is that even though my immediate family might be small, my chosen family is so big. And that is a reflection of me, because I am enough. I am here. I'm where I'm meant to be inside of myself, as are you. And if you're somewhere where you don't wish to be, you have the power to change it. Maybe you just need to accept the fact that it won't be perfect right away. Or maybe it'll never be perfect. Life isn't meant to be perfect, and that's the beauty of it. And that's what I preach, and everything I do is being authentic, being perfectly imperfect. So, even if times are hard, at least let's be authentically beautiful and imperfect together. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.